right, welcome back to another episode of JR Takes. As always, Ryan and I coming at you with the latest Seattle and NFL news. And we got a couple new things on the horizon today. We're going to be sort of moving forward, dividing out, or I guess mapping out the episodes via segments. And the first one, we pretty much have already done this in the past, but just kind of solidifying what we're going to be talking about. First segment, we're going to be talking about Hawk Talk. Obviously, we're going to be going over all Seattle news, whether that be injuries, whether that be players we want to see do well, that be on the offensive side or defensive side of the ball. So I guess we'll just kick into high gear with that. And then obviously after that segment, we'll do the Around the League and the Power Rankings. But we got the Niners coming up on Sunday, and I'm feeling honestly optimistic about our chances. Despite the breaking news that we just heard about a half hour ago of Connor Williams deciding to hang it up after snapping the ball over Geno's head 3 times, or 3 or 2. I don't remember what it was.
It's hard to remember.
But
you want to forget all of them.
He basically said, all right, I'm going to lose this 2 games, and I'm going to head out. So really bizarre to see that. But anyways, we got Abe Lucas coming back. We got DK coming back. I like our chances. What do you think about this game coming up?
Yeah, I mean, those are obviously 2 of the most important players on this offense, without a doubt. I mean, the impact Abraham Lucas has made being gone has been very evident. And, you know, the one season where we had a healthy Lucas, 2022, we had one of the best offenses in the league that year, objectively. Mm-hmm. It kind of sputtered into the postseason, but it still was a lot better than what we've seen out of the guys playing behind him since he's been out. So that's a huge boost. And since DK's been out, we haven't won a game and really haven't been all that close to winning a game. The Rams game was just a weird game. But I think there's a really good chance we win that game with DK. And I think the Bills game would have been more competitive with him too. So it's going to make a huge difference. Connor Williams, I can't say that guy's going to be missed because we're not exaggerating. He literally cost us like 2 games and just retires for no reason. He's going to state in our bye week right before we play our hated division rival. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, what the hell happened?
Barring any, obviously I hope nothing serious is wrong with him, but
Right, but
if we do ever find out why, I mean, putting that aside, kind of a weak move to do that. I know mistakes happen, sure, but retiring the Friday before the biggest game of the year,
it's pretty fucking weird. Yeah. I've never seen anything like it. Besides that guy, I think on the Dolphins or whatever, retiring at halftime. That's the only thing I can think of. I can't remember who that was.
I remember that happening, though.
Yeah.
And laughing, but
that was hilarious. But yeah, I guess Olu Oluwatimi slides into the starting role now. He won the top center in college football award in 2022, I think. So, I mean, there's something there. He's mostly been a reserve for us, but considering the way Connor Williams has been playing, I kind of don't think it's going to make that big of a difference, to be honest. I think Connor Williams was probably better because he was starting, and we proactively went out and signed him in the offseason. But it's the third thing that's happened to this team in the last 11 days that's odd, where, we trade our, at the time, starting linebacker Jerome Baker to the Dolphins, and then we cut our other starting linebacker in Tyrell Dodson, and now our center's leaving. Those were 3 starter additions in free agency in the offseason that were jettisoned within 2 weeks of each other. It's weird.
It's a little weird, and I don't want to, obviously I don't want to go down this path because I don't know what I'm talking about, but God, it makes you kind of question, what's going on in the locker room? Are they not buying into this? Are they not? And I saw an interview with Terrell Dodson.
Oh, he was pissed.
He was really mad. So it's like, what's going on?
I don't know. It's strange. It's really strange. You want to just hope that, Mike is not getting his way and he's just not going to tolerate what he sees as unacceptable play out there or whatever. And maybe long term these end up being the right moves. But it's definitely it's not a very strong indication that things are going well.
Right.
And I think that's pretty evident.
Yeah.
So within the context of this 49ers game, a little bit of a detour there, but it all relates. The season hangs in the balance, man. I know we got the Cardinals twice in 3 weeks after this, and it won't be over if we lose this game. But for all intents and purposes, it is over if we lose this game. And at some point in every NFL season, whether it's week 3 or week 17, you're in win now mode. You make it to the playoffs, obviously you're in win now mode, or must win. What must win mode is really more what I mean. And I think we're at that point now. If this season is going to be worth anything, that's how we basically got to approach every single game. You can't lose anymore, especially in the division, especially in the conference, and expect to do jack shit with this season.
Right.
So I have hope, like you were saying, because we're getting DK and Abe back, because we had a week off to rest and refocus. I'm optimistic that this is going to be a competitive game. If I'm wrong, it's not going to be pretty.
One thing I want to say is, if we start off and dig ourselves in a hole 14-0 or 10-0 or whatever it is early, we're done. We can't win because
that's happened the last 5 times we've played them, basically.
Yeah, and I'm just I was looking at some numbers over the game during week 6. We gave up 483 yards to the Niners. Now I know one of those plays was that 76-yard play by Debo, the touchdown, and then the other 76-yard run, and then we gave up almost a 40-yard run to Jordan Mason. So we need to stop the big plays from happening.
They did do that well against the Rams. I mean, they did.
They only gave up one
the game
pass
winner.
more than 40 or 30 something yards.
Yeah,
that was the longest pass of the game.
And it was a one-handed catch on an insane throw. It was just. I mean, sometimes you get beat. That happens in the NFL.
That play was the epitome of why I think we should have kicked the field goal. Because when you have, nothing to... they had no pressure on them. Worst case scenario, they tie. So, yeah, they're going to... I've already gone over this. But Matt making that decision to make that deep bomb throw, I don't think they do that if we're up by 3. But that's just me. I think the way, again, stopping the big plays. I mean, the Niners, they're 6th in the NFL in third down conversion compared to our 24th.
That's actually better than I thought we were.
Well, I know, right? But
I thought we'd be 29, 31.
And then the Niners are 2nd in the league in first down yardage. They average 7 yards per play on first down.
And that's the Shanahan effect there.
Yeah, and what do? We're averaging we need to get 8.9 yards on third down. It's just these are the opposite teams on offense right now.
And a lot of that is because we keep getting holding penalties and false and just dumb, horrific mistakes by this line.
Penalties and sacks.
Yeah.
And go back to, again, the interior offensive line not doing their job.
And it's really mystifying, too, because on Monday of this week, Mike McDonald said that they discussed during the bye of moving Connor Williams to guard to make a difference at one of the guard spots, and they decided against it. I'm like, did they bring that up? And he's like, that's it, I quit. Because for the information we received, that's all we really have to go off of, and it's a annoying situation with this line, but all we can really do at this point is just hope that they get better and hope that for some reason Abe makes everything work better. George Fant going to IR, side note, totally lost season for that guy. It's unfortunate because we talked multiple times in the offseason about how he would make a difference being a good reserve for Abe, but it lasted 3 plays, and he has not been seen since. So just bad luck there.
Yeah, one thing I also want to note on Abe Lucas, I'm head over heels with the fact that he's back and starting, but I'm just kind of hesitant. He has only played 11 games for us total.
Probably more like 15. He played a few last year, but even his rookie season, I think he missed time. So
yeah, so he does have games under his belt, but do we expect him to just plug right in and be the same player he was? That's my biggest keynote question with him, I guess, is he going to look like the same guy? Because he hasn't played in a long time. So
it's a fair question, but I think even if he doesn't look like the same guy, he's going to look like a better guy than Stone Forsythe. So I just see it as, no matter how you look at it, it's a huge upgrade.
That's fair, yeah. You got predictions, score predictions. What is your gut telling you this week?
Well,
is it telling you a dub?
My gut is telling me not good things. But
you think Ricky's gonna get a tutty on us?
Pearsall? No, I think he's gonna. I'm just kidding. I was gonna say he's gonna get shot again. I think my brain is telling me we're gonna lose this game 34-18 or something like that. To be perfectly honest, but I will make a prediction that if I'm wrong and we do win, the offense has a big day, and the defense makes just a couple of stops in this game, and we win something 28-27 or something like that, where it just really comes down to the wire. But it's going to take a heroic effort. One thing that is definitely in our favor, though, I think Nick Bosa is doubtful for this game.
Yeah, does he have a hip injury?
Yeah, and he's not going to practice at all this week. They already said that.
I think that's why he didn't tackle Baker Mayfield.
Dude, that Baker Mayfield, because on the good, the bad, the ugly, that could be ugly for Nick Bosa, so good for Baker. Right?
Yeah, and it's not helping Nick Bosa beat the allegations that the way the quarterback looks determines his effort.
Yeah.
Maybe if we start Sam Howell, he'll be all right, I'm not playing. But if we put Gino out there, he's lace him up, guys. Here we go. Anyways, my formal prediction is I do think we're gonna lose the 7th game in a row to this team. That hurts my soul to utter those words, but this team hasn't shown me anything really at all since week 3 to make me think we're going to win. And I welcome them to come out here and prove me wrong, but we're on the road. 49ers have been really good at home this year. It's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I think in the back of my mind, in my heart, I think we will lose this game, but I don't really want to believe that. And so I'm going to say, choosing the Niners beating us, that's such an easy option. No shot at you. I'm just saying, that's what normal me would have done. But we're going to win 28-26.
Okay.
We're going to stop the Niners game-winning or game-tying 2-point conversion.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That is bold.
It's bold, but it's going to happen.
I'd love to see it, because I haven't seen us beat this team since Russell Wilson was our quarterback.
And it's going to be because we sack Brock Purdy. When he's rolling out with his stupid little short arms or whatever the fuck he does.
Oh, God. Get him out of there. I want to sack him myself.
I want to
put me in.
I want to shoot him with the gun that shot Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a nice kid, but boy, he's got
he looks like a dick.
He's got one of those faces that you're just God, I fucking hate you. I don't even know why.
I heard he was a jerk, and people don't get along with him a lot.
No, you didn't. Everyone's he's a locker room guy. He's a leader.
He's like the next T.O.
Ow. All right. Well,
but yeah, 28-26, get the dub, and then the Niners lose out. So, with that being said, you want to move on to a little bit of around the league, discuss. I guess we didn't really have an instant reaction last week because we were on a bye week. So
yeah, there wasn't a whole lot to react to other than, what games we found to be interesting. The Steelers Commanders game was a real highlight for me last week. That was a fun matchup. I was sitting at home and I just spent the money to watch Red Zone on my phone so I could watch the game.
Really?
Yeah, but I was glad because it was such a good Red Zone last Sunday.
Yeah, it was awesome. Russ, it's weird. I was watching a little bit of, because I do this every so often, I was watching a little bit of highlights from the Packers-Seahawks game back in the playoffs a few years ago, and Russ just, the stuff he was doing was magic. And I just get that same, I didn't have that feeling watching him in Denver. I was like, this isn't the Russ that I'm accustomed to.
You didn't recognize what you were seeing when he was in Denver.
But, watching him on the Steelers, that moonball he threw to Mike Williams, he's just, reminding me so much of that Russ. And he's surrounded by elite defensive players. He's got offensive weapons that, feed Najee. He'll do some dirty work on the ground.
I think one of the biggest things and one of the biggest reasons why he's doing so well with the Steelers is he's got a defensive-minded head coach that believes in him and is playing to his strengths. Mm-hmm. Does that not sound familiar for why he was so good for us?
Exactly.
It's the same. It's eerie watching this Steelers team because it is literally the same formula from 2018 Seattle.
Yeah, Colin Cowherd the other day said that the Steelers are East Coast Seattle. So,
which is so weird because I'm actively rooting for them right now. It's fun. It's a fun story, and I fucking hated the Steelers for the first 10 years I was a fan. Because
I know. I also just I'm like, do I kind of like their jerseys now? What's going on here?
I will say I just do like Mike Tomlin. I think he's a character. And he's a really good coach. He's never had a losing season for, 15, 16 years now. So
yeah, and he's accidentally hilarious sometimes.
Yeah, when he looked at the camera and was like,
or when they started asking him about his tenure with the Steelers last year, and he was just like, gets up and walks away.
I forgot about that. Yeah, he's had a lot of meme-worthy moments in the last calendar year.
Yeah, but it's been great seeing the Steelers play well. Someone else I want to talk about, another former Seahawk, or affiliated with the Seahawks, Shane Waldron out on Tuesday as the Bears offensive coordinator.
Shocker. Who could have told you that he wasn't a good coordinator?
Well, apparently we have it on record, the Bears at least do, that they just should have listened to Jackson Smith and Jigba, because all throughout the media this week, I've been hearing that soundbite come up and come back
and be like, "Is this live?"
Yeah, and it's just that just goes to show you East Coast media and East Coast bias and all these big market teams that the media wants to be good, just suck. The fucking Bears, the only people taking them to go deep playoff runs were idiots in the media that are just trying to cram that narrative down everyone's throat. And it's just this team sucks. End of story.
Yeah, I think the problem is at the top in Chicago, though. I think Eberflus is why does he still have a job? He has one of the worst win-loss records for any coach in their first 4 seasons or however many it's been. But he was there, I believe, for, if not the whole Justin Fields tenure, 90% of it. So I don't know what he's shown as a coach to make you think this is our guy.
Yeah, no, he's just awful. And
the fact that Fields was immediately better on the Steelers too, not even 8 months after he was playing for the Bears, it's not a good look.
Yeah, and just you think about too how the Bears are they're watching Justin Fields play well in Pittsburgh, but you insert Russ and Justin Fields goes to the bench. Russ is clearly the better option. So it's like, if you're a Bears fan, I'm sure Bears fans are like, all the ones that are like, we should have rolled with Justin, and the ones that are upset about Caleb, but it's like, Justin couldn't beat out Russ, who was the village idiot for 2 years, and Justin couldn't beat him out. So it's like, maybe the Bears are just destined to fail organization.
Yeah, I mean, they have the quarterback that I was the most confident of any quarterback since Mahomes to be great.
And he looks the worst out of all the rookies.
Yeah, I mean, even the Bone Ix has showed more in recent weeks.
He almost beat the Chiefs, which...
He should have.
That ending was so gross. And what makes it worse is if the Bills win this weekend, it doesn't matter because had the Chiefs lost, the Bills would have jumped them in the standings because they both have 2 losses, and Bills would have the tiebreaker. But now that's just like, we have to pray that the Chiefs lose at some point this season.
Yeah, I mean, they're already 9-0, so the chances of them getting the number 1 seed are like probably over 90% at this point. And if they win this weekend, it's like they already have it, basically.
It really sucks because the amount of like, what's the opposite of nostalgia? Like horrendous memory. I don't know.
Trauma.
Yeah. That's the Patriots trauma that I had to deal with like the first 20 years of my life. It's all coming back watching these stupid Chiefs, and it's worse because they're about to three-peat.
Yeah, they're kind of annoying me more for some reason. Like, maybe I don't remember my Patriots hatred that much because it's been it's been over 5 years since Tom Brady was their quarterback. So it's hard to remember. And even before that, they weren't that good in his last season. So it's been a long time since the Patriots were the team, and it sucked. But at least you had, Peyton ended a few of those runs. That they weren't totally invincible. It just feels like every time someone plays the Chiefs, they find a way to lose the fucking game.
Yeah. Even the Bengals, who I thought were the only thing that could stand in their way, they also found a way to lose their game earlier this year. So it's just like, can we just have Russ knock them out in the playoffs?
That'd be so beautiful.
Yeah, it would be fucking awesome. What
I will make a prediction. If the Steelers make it to the playoffs, play the Chiefs, and win, Russell Wilson's a Hall of Famer for sure. I think that will cement.
I think that will be his redemption arc.
The comeback story will be complete if that happens. Even if they lose the next round,
he's doing all of the NFL. He's that would be doing service to every NFL fan that isn't a Chiefs fan.
Yeah, I think he would make himself a beloved figure in most of the fandom's eyes because, he was shat on for 2 years. But now if that situation happens and the team that almost everyone that isn't a Chiefs fan is hating right now loses to him, it would just be legendary.
Yeah. Well, also, fucking people are pissing me off because, I saw this video with Russ earlier today, and someone commented, they were like, hating on Russ is corny as fuck. And it's like, what, now it's, popular to kiss his ass again?
Yeah. Well, you guys were all...
Which, granted, I was fuck Russell Wilson for, 2 years. But, I feel like I have that right. I'm a Seahawks fan.
I think if you were a Seahawks fan, especially in 2022, it was, fair game.
Yeah.
It was almost required. It was, yeah. I was at that stadium his first game back with Denver, and it was viciously loud with the boos every time he was on the screen. The whole game. It was wild. But he kind of deserved it.
Yeah, and I think him eating humble pie for 2 years in Denver has just made that hate, not even hatred, just
I was already kind of rooting for him last year.
That misunderstanding between the fans and Russell Wilson and all that, I think like the time he spent in Denver, like he got what he deserved, and now it's kind of over. And now I just want to root for him.
Well, and especially after Sean Payton benched him for like no reason last year, that was when I was just like, okay, I'm like fully back on his side because I fucking hate Sean Payton.
Yeah,
I have since like
he's scum.
2009.
I have since I saw him.
Go like.
That actually, yes. That was when I knew I hated him. But when I saw him, when he was like an analyst, wear a visor with a suit, I was like, this guy is a fucking idiot. like he's just dressed up like on Fox with like Terry, and but he just has a visor. Like, bro, leave the visor at home, okay?
Yeah,
fucking
that's
moron.
Incredibly douchey.
One more thing, Ryan, I wanted to talk about around the league. Mr. Hungry and Humble, he's undefeated since we made fun of him.
Yeah, Eagles fans should be thanking us because since we shat all over your coach, you guys have been like one of the best teams in the league. So.
I think he probably, you know what probably happened? He watched that episode, saw I said feed Saquon, and then he was like, you know what? Jonah's right. I'm going to do that. And then he told all of his coaching staff
to be hungry and humble. Yeah. Wait, where's the picture of him crying?
Let's see.
Because that's how we feel right now. I still think he's a bad coach, though.
Me too. I do. I mean, look at it.
Yeah, you're telling me you want to go to war for that? No, thank you.
I want to go to war against that.
This might be a new staple. I didn't know this picture existed.
Anytime.
This is the thumbnail you made for that video, which was hilarious because a lot of Eagles fans found it and were like pissed. It's our most disliked video.
Yeah, a lot of fans were like, "Why is this showing up in my feed?"
That just makes me want to do it more, though.
I know.
But anyways, yeah, the Eagles they look like they might be in the top tier of the NFC again.
Yeah, which I don't mind. I mean, I think out of the NFC East, well, besides the Commanders, the Eagles are my least, like, I like them the most.
I want the Giants to be bad forever.
I love seeing the Cowboys be awful. I
actually like it when they make the playoffs and immediately lose the most.
Dude,
that's my favorite.
They remind me so much of, like, the 9-7, 7-9, like 8-8 Seahawks teams that we put out in like the mid 2000s, where like we were winning but we were beating shitty teams and we were getting our ass kicked by good teams. Like that's been the Cowboys like almost my whole life, just minus like 2 good seasons from Tony Romo and that offensive line that they had, and the couple good seasons Dak had. But for the most part, they've been like not physical. They're just
a finesse team. But they're a terrible finesse team this year. Like even with Dak, I think they're a bottom 5 team right now the way they're playing. Like,
well, they don't have a run game.
Yeah, I think they would lose to like the Panthers head to head right now.
I think they would too. And I think they play them in a couple weeks.
Do?
Yeah, and I think they're
going to lose that game.
My boy's won 2 straight.
He's been looking better.
My boy's going to go into Jerry World and perhaps give that old-ass man a heart attack.
Do you think they're going to try out Trey Lance eventually?
Yeah, they should.
If Trey can't play over Cooper Rush, it's over, dude. Like, I know you're like 19 years old still, but
you might
retire.
As well, though, because Trey Lance, even if say you guys lose every game, that's great. Because now you guys have a high draft pick and you still have the pieces. Well,
you have some pieces.
The pieces weren't great in the first place, but I mean, you do have stars. You have Micah and CeeDee Lamb. It's just Dalvin. I mean, their run game.
They have like a retirement home running back room, and Rico Dowdle, whatever the hell that is.
And I doubt he's going to be doing anything.
That's fair.
All right. Sorry. Anyway, we'll move on to want to do our power rankings?
Sure, yeah. So this time it's going to be a little different. We're not going to, go back and forth. We'll kind of just throw up the whole list and talk about risers and fallers and how we see the dynamic of the league right now. So it looks like you got the Chiefs staying on top, and I've just honestly the Lions, even though you have a game where Jared Goff plays like Jared Goof, former Ram,
Yeah.
and throws 5 interceptions, you still find a way to win on the road in Houston, who I also have in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think it was one of their more impressive performances of the whole year because they shut out a really good team in the second half.
It's funny. I was before you got here, I was kind of Colby and I were like practicing our good, bad, and ugly segment, and I chose the Lions and the Chiefs as being good as my good topic because they both kind of won the same game a little bit. They won like the Chiefs blocking the field goal in a game they absolutely should have lost. Jared Goff throwing 5 interceptions. And then storming back, not giving up any points in the second half to the Houston Texans. It's like, this is a good team.
Yeah.
And both of these teams just had a magical, like, are you kidding me? They won. And
they sort of seem like they're on a collision course a little bit
right,
for February.
Yeah, and I mean, the kicker for the Lions fucking was the dagger in my fantasy team,
and those kicks were so
barely
close
barely
to
made
doinking.
him. I know
it was like millimeters.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe the first one especially didn't hit. I was like, oh, he missed that, and then it was like, Foom.
Yeah. So the Lions and the Chiefs, I just feel like it's destiny for them to play each other in the Super Bowl this year, and then obviously Ravens Bills. They're always going to be relevant as long as Josh and Lamar are their quarterbacks. Hungry and humble. They to be fair to the Commanders, I kind of cheated. I made this power ranking after I watched the game last night. I mean, I made it today. So.
I made it like 30 minutes ago. So yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. So the Commanders, they probably would have been a little bit higher had we done this episode at this time yesterday.
But they were soundly defeated by Hungry and Humble. So
yeah.
You gotta give credit where it's due.
Yep, and then Vikings, Packers, obviously they've been hanging in the mix, but then my 10 spot team, the Cardinals, they've kind of come out of nowhere. They're kind of a fun team, even though they're in our division. I mean, I don't want them to beat us, but I do enjoy watching them play. They have a high-powered offense. James Conner is like, why are you still good?
He's so good.
This is annoying.
He's the only thing keeping my redraft footballers team on life support. Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals are a weird, like, high variance team that when they're playing the best they can, they look like a top tier team.
They might have ended Aaron Rodgers' career. Long term.
Yeah, no, that was horrible if you're a Jets fan. Like, you just had a kind of inspiring victory the week before against a good team like the Texans, and then you come out and just get absolutely smacked around by this Cardinals team that really hasn't done a whole lot in many years. Like, in the year that you're supposed to finally make that leap to not being a shit, just overrated mess of a team. This Jets team belongs in the ugliest of uglies, even though we're not really doing that segment. They would be there if we were doing it.
I just want to see like ugly, like just.
I'll tell you, anytime you throw the ball to Devontae Adams, it's like the ugliest thing I've ever looked at. It's like the joy of having the two of them on your fantasy team, and then the agony of seeing him just drop a pass that fucking you or me could make. Like, this is ridiculous.
It's insane. I honestly don't think I've ever seen a more talented team be this bad than the Jets. Well, because they have, like, in a lot of ways, one of the best rosters in the league. I still think that.
And I have heard a lot of different analysts compare the Jets to, like, an NBA team. They're like a team just full of mercenaries that haven't really they don't really have a bond together because they haven't been together for that long. Mm-hmm. And you just kind of assume, because they're all extremely talented, that it will work. And that's just not the way that it works in the NFL.
I have to say, a quick aside, I don't think anything has made Tom Brady's legacy look better than how the Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson big time trades worked out, because it was kind of the same model where you get your guy and you kind of model the team after what that guy wants to do. Both times, utter disaster. And then with Tom Brady, granted, I think the Bucs already had a good team, but I thought that about the Jets and the Broncos too when those trades happened. And the Buccaneers won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady. So
one thing I think is maybe slightly the only edge I would give Tom in between those three guys in that situation is Tom had the best coach. He had Bruce
for sure.
Arians.
Yeah.
He had the Hollywood director himself. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, the other two guys as coaches were fired.
Yeah.
Within their first season.
And
both
I
times.
think it's only being proven even more so how bad Nat Hackett is. Because everywhere he goes, the worst offense in the league follows him. So this isn't an accident.
Yeah,
anymore.
he's the link between Russ and Rodgers' failures with their traded teams as well. So it's kind of hilarious. But yeah, I don't know. I think we're watching the end of Aaron Rodgers' career, and it's kind of a sad way for the guy to go out, especially with all the off the field shit he's had the last couple of years.
And I looked at all of that and I was like, he's still Aaron Rodgers. He'll be fine. But I was wrong. He sucks, and you can't be doing the things he's been doing and expect to win even 9 games.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it's really similar to Brett Favre's Jets journey, except worse, actually.
Yeah, the difference there is I don't even really remember like how it ended with the Jets. I just remember, bam, he was on the Vikings the next year.
I only remember the ending with the Jets because the Seahawks in 2008.
Oh yeah, wasn't it a snow game?
Yeah, and we beat them when we were like 3-13 or something or we were like 3-11 at home, and we were playing the Jets at home and beat them soundly in the snow, and it was just like, okay, that's the end of Brett Favre on the Jets.
But yeah, those are my rankings this week.
It's kind of funny this turned into just shitting on the Jets for power rankings, but I'm glad it happened.
Hey, honestly, I kind of enjoyed that more than what we had been doing.
Well, I feel like we've had this same, I mean, besides for you, the Cardinals, the top 10 has just been the same teams every week, and like I keep not really seeing a reason to change it. Although I will say, out of my top 10, one team I could see not being there much longer is the Vikings. I kind of feel like they're fading. This was a team that we had at the top to start the year, and it's looking more and more like a mirage to me.
We?
I
have had the Chiefs
top 2.
number 1 since week 1.
You never put the Lions number 1?
No.
Oh.
I
Well,
like how you have the Lions number 1 and he has the Chiefs.
I just think the Lions would beat the Chiefs right now. They look like a better team to me.
I'm just not going to keep
Chiefs
hurting my soul believing a team is going to beat the Chiefs.
The
and then
Chiefs
the
are
win, and I have to just
flirting
be
with
like, cool.
defeat like a drunk guy at a party. Like they are
That is
aggressively
true. They
trying to
should have
lose
won
games.
last, that.
No, it was supposed to be over last week, and then for some
I
reason,
like Jaren's fucking team,
his fantasy team.
right? I should have beat him.
You should have. Yeah, that's maybe even worse than the Chiefs. Just kidding, Jared.
I'm not. You suck. But on that note, that's honestly that was pretty much all I had for this episode. Unless you had anything more to add to the Niner-Seahawks game.
No, I mean, we made fun of the Jets. We made fun of the Cowboys.
We made fun of Hungry and Humble.
Yeah, I pretty much got everything out of my system. So
Yeah.
on to next week. Hopefully our instant reaction is not us starting the podcast off like again. 'Cause that's happened like 6
Not
times.
starting off the podcast. Not starting off the podcast like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, go. Okay, that's what we don't want. Now go to Tony Dungy.
Wait. This is what
Yeah,
That's
this
what we
is
want.
this is what we want to see Sunday
Yeah,
night.
this is Jonah, and this is Ryan.
Wait, why am I Tony Dungy? I thought I was Tom Brady.
Well, just the way it's Tom, Jonah, and you guys got to do this on Halloween one day. I'm just saying. I don't know how it works, but
We'd have to like put like a shitload of makeup on.
And one of us would have to shave our head and like do blackface. So I don't know if we can make that happen.
the whole party, you're just like,
that would be exhausting.
I want like I wonder if they've been interviewed and been
About
asked,
this photo?
what the fuck were you two
They shouldn't
doing?
have been allowed to get away with this without someone just asking, "Hey, I don't mean to pry, but what the fuck was that?"
Honestly, the NFL should have stepped in and drug tested him immediately after that photo was like surfaced.
Yeah, they look like they just like are going to like a child sacrificing party or something. like some
They
weird
do.
cult.
That's kind of scaring me. Please stop that.
All right, we should probably pull the plug on
All
this.
right, yeah. Let's end this before it gets out of hand.
Thanks for listening, everybody.